Now, how many people know that there's an election for president that's going on right now? Have any of you heard about that? Most everybody, right? Well, we have an election story that's coming from Possum Crossing. Now, I'm going to have people act these out too, and this time there are even costumes. You need to hear me better? Okay. Let's see. First of all, okay. We need a Nora Nosey. Would someone like to be Nora Nosey? Okay. Here you go. This is your hat, and I'll tell you at the very end when you're supposed to come up, okay?
When you stand, if you could stand right there, that would be great.
Okay. Well, no, actually, I'd like for them to sit.
Okay, to sit.
Okay, yeah, just sit till I tell you it's time to come up. Let's see. Now I need a Barbie bombshell. You want to be Barbie bombshell?
No.
Let's see. All right. Now I need a Mayor Macho. Who wants to be Mayor Macho? Anybody? Anybody? Mayor Macho? Do you want to? You don't want to? Okay. Okay, come on. You can be Mayor Macho. Yeah. Oh, no, you can sit back there. Okay, now I have Myrtle. Oh, I need Myrtle Macho. You want to be Myrtle Macho? Okay.
Yeah.
Honey, can you get me those two hats over there too, please? Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Oh, yes, the glasses. Okay. Now I need an Alphabet the teacher. Someone want to be Alphabet the teacher? Oh, good. Okay, here are some glasses for you to wear. Oh, well, you can ask if you can train. You want to put this on your head?
You Patriot fans are just going to have to postpone your enthusiasm until after this story.
Okay, and then we need Fred Ed. Would someone like to be Fred Ed? Anybody want to be Fred Ed? There you go.
Could you have them stand if they have to stand over there so that you could see them?
Okay, yeah, right here. Okay. Nora Nosey. Okay. Well, I think the year was 1953, or maybe it was 1954, but that part isn't all that important. But my uncle, Gus Plenty, made an announcement that absolutely shocked everyone. We found out about it from my Aunt Liza. She called my mother long distance, and back in those days, it cost money, so you know that this announcement was really important. She said, Ellen, you ain't gonna believe what your brother-in-law decided to do. He's gonna run for mayor sheriff of Possum Crossing. Yeah. Now, I think the reason he's doing it, because, you know, our next door neighbor, Mayor Macho, who doesn't need to come up yet, but Mayor Macho, well, he was always saying, he was so gold-darn important, and that Gus weren't worth nothing. Well, Gus had had it. He decided he was going to run for election, and he was going to show that mayor what was what. Well, I sure hope he gets it, because ever since he retired from the railroad, he don't do nothing but play the banjo 24/7. Hear that? See what I mean? Well, listen, this phone call is costing me money, so I'm going to have to hang up. Next time, maybe you can call me on your dime. Okay, bye. My mother laughed. With Aunt Liza, never did she ever get a word in edgewise. Well, now Gus started planning his campaign. First of all, he came up with a slogan. The slogan...
Gus is for us.
Now, Now later on, y'all are going to have to help me with that. So let's say it. Gus is for us.
Does the teacher have to say it? Does the teacher have to say it?
Sure. Oh, definitely. Okay, now then he had to come up with a platform that wasn't quite as easy, but he finally decided on 3 things that would appeal to you, the voters, because you are the voters for Possum Crossing. Yeah, you too. So he decided.
Number 1, free tuition for all dogs in the county to the Bird Dogs Academy of Obedience.
Well, that certainly would appeal to a lot of dog owners. Now, the second thing he had was,
I will provide banjo music every Saturday night.
oh, let's hear it, let's hear it. Oh, yeah, that's a real winner, right? And finally,
Last but not least, I will create high-paying jobs in Possum Crossing.
yay! Well, as you can imagine, Mayor / Sheriff Macho did not like it at all that someone was running against him. He started slinging mud. He said, well, I knowed old Gus Plenty when he was just in the 3rd grade. You know, one time he put a tack on the teacher's seat. Oh, it was priceless to see her reaction when she sat down. Everybody laughed, but I ask you, do we want someone like Prankster Plenty to be our next sheriff? Let's hear a resounding no. Well, of course, Gus had to do some mudslinging on his own. So he said,
I don't think Sheriff Macho has the temperament for this job. You know, he is quick to fly off the handle, writes tickets like gone out of style. Therefore, let's hear a resounding no for Mad Mac Macho for mayor.
no. And then the people started chanting, Gus for us, Gus for us, Gus for us, Gus for us.
Gus for us. Gus for us.
There we go. We have some really diehard fans. Anyway, my Aunt Liza was getting tired of all this campaigning. So she decided that when it came time when her poor Aunt Matilde needed someone to come help her with her hip, she broke her hip, Liza said that she would go. So Gus drove Liza to the train station and waved goodbye. Can you all wave goodbye to Aunt Liza? Bye, Aunt Liza. Anyway, now that Aunt Liza was gone, you ever heard that saying? When the cat's away, the mice will play? Mm-hmm. Gus decided, with his newfound freedom, he was going to do 3 things that Liza would not like. And that was?
First of all, no shaving. This takes a lot of time. Number 2, no haircuts. After all, Liza gives them to me, so I don't have to worry a whole lot about it. But number 3, those Saturday night baths are gone.
Oh, that's okay for a couple of days, but let me tell you, after a couple of weeks, can you all go, P-U, P-U. Oh, he was so stinky. And his hair was matted and coming down to here. This beard had become very, very bushy. I mean, everybody in Possum Crossing went like this when he came by. Ooh. That's right. Well,
Especially her.
yeah.
Especially that.
Well, now,
She has 2 different colored hair. That's how fancy she is.
I know, she's really a wild woman. Anyway, now, and we're not ready yet for the actors and actresses, but I have to tell you that the peach harvest,
Can I take off my glasses
Festa-
while I'm waiting?
you can, the peach harvest was coming up soon. It was the greatest day for people in Possum Crossing. For one thing, the women didn't have to cook on Saturday. Let's hear it. Yay,
I love
ladies.
cooking. The teacher loves cooking.
Okay, well, you can cook and the rest can take it easy.
I'll cook for the whole town.
Okay, good for you. Well, anyway, so the women really liked it because the men would come and they'd grill the hot dogs and they would flip the burgers and they would boil the corn and they would serve. And
Pumpkin pie.
okay, that's it. So the teacher alphabet is going to make the pie. Now,
I need my
on
glasses.
Friday night, everybody would go. It was an adults only party, but it wasn't. Well, it's not racy day, but the adults went to the party and left the kids with the babysitters. Yes. Okay. Now, but I want you to know the adults party, it wasn't racy or anything like that, because these people were really, really straight-laced people in Possum Crossing. But at any rate, the Friday before the all-night party or the adults-only party, Barbie Bombshell called Nora Nosey. Yeah, you can just sit there, but you can call Nora Nosey. Who's Nora Nosey? She is. Because, you see, Barbie Bombshell was the reporter for the Possum Crossing Tribune. And she and Nora Nosey, who was the town gossip, they worked it out so that the gossip would go to the reporter and the reporter would have something to report. Well, Barbie Bombshell, who looked just like Marilyn Monroe, she heard that in the next town over, Pig's Ear Hollow, well, a scandal was about to be revealed. Oh, can we hear it, everybody? Oh! Now, Barbie Bombshell decided if she could get to Pig's Ear Hollow before everybody else, she could get the scoop, no telling where her career would go. So she jumped in the car and started driving. She was driving really, really fast. And then, oh, that's good. What a great expression. And wouldn't you know it, 5 minutes later, she heard, woo, 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 woo. Who do you think it was?
Police.
The police, exactly. Mayor/Sheriff Macho. And he was going to give her a ticket. Now, she decided to turn on the charm. She said, "Oh, Mayor, don't you look real handsome today?" Uh-huh. And he said, well, thank you very much. But, you was speeding. And she said, well, if you don't give me a ticket, because I'm kind of in a hurry, I'll never speed again. He said, oh, no, we can't do that. She tried one last time. She said, well, what if I promise to come to the police station just as soon as I get home? And he said, oh, no, that ain't the way we do it. He took forever to write out that ticket. And by the time Barbie Bombshell got to Pig's Ear Hollow, somebody else had gotten the scoop ahead of her. Well, she decided if Mayor Macho was the last person on earth, she was not going to vote for him. No way. So now the media was slanted toward my uncle, Gus. Well, at the all party,
Is the teacher still baking the pies?
what's that?
Is the teacher still baking the pies?
Yeah, she is. In fact, that's what she was home doing. And that night at the party, and this is where I want the actors to come in, everybody was campaigning to beat the band. Mayor Macho was going around shaking everybody's hand.
Hey there, how you doing, bud? Good to see you.
And he said, if you vote for me, I'll make Possum Crossing great again.
Howdy, Pam. It's a fine pleasure to see you. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not shaking your hand, man.
The teacher's at home making the pie.
Yeah. Okay. So then, Myrtle Macho, I think that's Myrtle. Oh, is that? No, Myrtle. You're Myrtle. Okay. Now, Myrtle Macho, come on up over here. Myrtle Macho was campaigning, but believe it or not, she was campaigning for my Uncle Gus Plenty. She was tired, can you say, tired of people looking at her and judging what she's wearing and how her hair looks. And she hated going to those long events where she got so bored. Can you see the bored look? Exactly. And so she was going around talking to everybody, say, vote for Gus Plenty. He's your man. But you didn't hear it from me. Okay.
To go to the teacher's house.
Then there was Fred Ed. Okay, with Fred Ed, come on up. Yes, that's Fred Ed. Now, Fred Ed was running for the Board of Education. Yes, and he felt he was qualified because he spent longer in the school system than any other person on record. He said, I was 23 when I almost graduated.
I was 23 when I almost graduated. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna like pie.
So I'm definitely qualified.
definitely qualified.
But then Alphabet, come on Alphabet, talking to his wife Nora Nosey. I think this is Nora right here, right?
I'm a boy.
No, Alphabet, the girl. Talking to her good friend Nora Nosey, okay? And she said, oh, that Fred Ed isn't qualified. Can you say that? That Fred Ed isn't qualified. I'm the teacher of the year, and I know what is what. Can you say that? Yeah, I'm the teacher of the year, and I know.
What else to be here?
Okay, there you go.
I'm the teacher of the year,
And I know that Fred Ed isn't qualified.
I know that Fred Ed isn't qualified.
And his wife said, she was the town gossip. Oh, I know, dear.
Oh, I know, dear.
But that Fred Ed is squeaky clean.
That Fred Ed is squeaky clean.
So Nora said, oh, I'll make up a good story we can spread around.
I'll make up a good story we can spread around.
But Alphabet said, oh, that wouldn't be honest.
Oh, that would be honest.
Can you imagine an honest politician? Well, thank you all you can sit down. I think we got everybody. Yep, round of applause for our actors here. Yeah, well, not yet. Okay, now the very next day, people, oh, by the way, Barbie Bombshell is taking pictures. Can you take a few pictures here?
Yeah, and make a pie from the pictures.
Right, take some pictures. And then, just to make Mayor Macho mad, can you say to Uncle Gus here? Can you say to Uncle Gus? Say, real loud so that Mayor Macho can hear. I'm voting for you, honey.
I'm voting for you, honey.
And blow a kiss. Well, the next day it was time for the picnic. And that's when the kids got to go, and everybody was so excited.
Did I bring the pies?
Yeah, you can bring the pies. Okay. So, everybody came. And I'll tell you, by that time, Gus was so stinky, you could hardly believe it, really. And everybody was like, whoa. Well, now, this was a big ceremony. Mayor Macho came to unlock the shed. Okay? Oh, yeah. But he opened up the door, and then he slammed it shut. Oh, no, there were skunks inside the shed. Whoa! And Mayor Natchell said, I ain't going in there.
I ain't going in there.
And nobody else neither.
And nobody else neither going in there.
And then he said, I guess the ladies of Possum Crossing are going to have to cook the hamburgers and the hot dogs.
I guess them ladies from Possum whatever is going to have to cook the hot dogs and them hamburgers.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
So ladies, let's all say boo. Boo. They were mad. I know. Well, she brought the pumpkin pies, but the rest of the ladies didn't want to do anything. Okay. So Gus, who'd been listening to all this, was playing the banjo. And he said,
Sheriff, I don't think that's a good idea. Look how the ladies look at you. They're angry, upset. I think we need to think of something else.
Hell no.
Well,
That's what they deserve.
well,
whoa, I ain't voting for
you
him.
want to make them more angry at you. Sheriff, let me see what I can do.
So Gus opened up the door and Gus walked into the shed. What did he have to lose, right? Well, he was playing the banjo and the people could hear him go, shoo, shoo. And do you know what? The skunks came running out. You guessed it. They just ran lickety-split, headed for the hills, never to be seen again. Now, I think it's sort of bad to think that Gus smelled so bad that the skunks couldn't stand him. But then some folks say, I bet Alphabet, the teacher, said it. Say it for me. I think it was the banjo music.
I think it was the banjo.
Who knows? People across Possum Crossing are still arguing today. How many of you think it was the banjo music that sent those skunks running? Anybody?
You want tickets when I'm sheriff? You better say no.
How many think it was that he was so stinky? Yeah. Well, he walked out and everybody clapped. Can you clap? Barbie Bombshell took a picture. Yep. Put it on the front page of the Possum Crossing News with the caption, Gus Plenty, champion of women's rights. And she wrote up a beautiful, beautiful thing about what happened. And she couldn't resist putting something in about Mayor Macho being someone that didn't like women all that well. Well, Liza came home. She made him cut his hair, or she did it for him, but he had to take a bath first. Oh my goodness, he had to soak in detergent, laundry detergent, for 3 hours. And then she handed him a shaver. And then she cut his hair. And now he looked downright presidential. Yes, I think so.
How long did it last?
Oh, until the election. And who do you think won that election? Gus Plenty. Because the women turned out in droves to vote for him. And all the while as he was giving his victory speech, he was thinking to himself,
I always thought the Mayor Macho thinks he was the important person. Not anymore. And by the way, didn't Fred Ed?
oh no, it was Alphabet who won,
that's right.
fair and square.
Alphabet one.
Yeah. And when he was making his victory speech, what do you think everybody was chanting? Gus for us. Gus for us. Gus for us. And that, my friends, is a true story. If you believe my aunt Liza Plenty.
And that is from West Virginia.
Oh yeah, Possum Crossing.
Possum Crossing. There's a real
Pig's Ear right near West Virginia, and there's all kinds of things that you wouldn't believe. And I wanted to make an announcement. This presentation and all the storytelling in the orchards weekends that we have is made possible by the East Hampton Cultural Council and the Massachusetts Cultural Council. So I want you to give them in absentia a big round of thank you. Let's thank the Massachusetts Cultural Council. Great, good.
Now, how many of you like ghost stories? Do some of you like ghost stories? Do you? Well, where we live, we are very close to where the C&O Canal began. And that was a canal that went back and forth from Cumberland, Maryland to the Washington, D.C. area. And this is a story that comes from there.
Is it a ghost story?
Yes, it is. Okay. This is so, and you can help, you all can just help me. We won't have parts, but you all can help me with some of this, okay? Now, just about everybody on the C&O Canal knew about Haunted House Bend. It was the perfect place to tie up a boat for the night if you didn't mind the ghosts, that is. And even the mules that were sensitive to danger, knew when they pulled the boat through the canal, they'd speed up real fast because they were scared. Well, the captain was new, and he didn't know about Haunted House Bend. So he gave the command one day, late in the afternoon. He said, well, it's been a long day, and we're going to tie up for the night. But the two mule skinners, that they're the ones that walked along, the mule drivers, and they were going, oh, no, you can't do that. The name says it all. But the captain was stubborn. He said, nope, we's going to tie up here. Okay, so they tied up the boat, the one, and he tied it really, really, really tight. He tested those knots, and then he had the other mule driver go out and put out the feeding trough for the mules because they were always really hungry after a long day on the canal. So finally, the two mule drivers got into their bunks, and the captain got into his bunk, and they started snoring. Can I hear some snores? And then, all of a sudden, He awakened with a start. I mean, by those mules. He said, well, them mules, they's darn restless tonight. Listen to them. Can you do some hee-haws? Well, I better go out there and check. So that captain went out there. Oh, when he got on the deck of the boat and looked out, the rope had come untied, and the boat was just floating downstream. So he awakened the two mule drivers, and they all took these big poles. Can you pretend that you have a pole? And what they had to do was they had to push and push and push till the boat was back where it had been in the first place. And then the mule drivers went over and looked. Oh my goodness, those mules hadn't eaten a bite of their food. That was not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. But the captain was stubborn. He didn't want to admit defeat. So he made sure he tied the boat again. He tied those knots. They were nice and tight. Tighter than ever. Can you all tighten up those knots? Oh, yeah, just like that. Ooh, they try it. They just, right, you can't get that thing moving. Okay, so now they all three went back on board the boat, and again, they started snoring. Uh-huh. Oh, boy, we've Got some good snorers out there, don't we? Anyway, all of a sudden, he awakened, the captain that is, he awakened with a start. Oh no, it sure sounds like somebody's coming on board my boat. Oh, and it sounds like he's covering up the hatches on where the cargo was. Oh, not a good sign. He awakened those mule drivers. Can you wake up? Go wake up like this. Oh, wake up, wake up.
Wake up!
Right. Yes. And so they tiptoed out, and they went out there just ready to fight anybody that dared come on their boat. But when they got out there wasn't a living soul in sight. And the hatches covering up the cargo, they were perfectly fine. Now, wasn't a good sign, but the captain didn't want to admit defeat. So once again, all three got in their bunks and they all started snoring. And then the captain awakened with a start. Oh no, can I hear some hee-haws of the mules? Dad, blast them mules, they's more restless now than they was before. The captain had it. You know what? He decided they were going to just go on. So everybody got out and they put the feeding troughs back and all of that, and they finally got on board the boat. They went another hour upstream and they tied up again, and they all three got in their bunks and they all started snoring, and they snored all night long because it was really peaceful. Now, when the captain got to Cumberland, Maryland, he went to Louise's Den of Iniquity. The other two mule drivers went elsewhere, and he said, has anybody heard of Haunted House Bend? Oh, indeed they had. It seems that Ball's Bluff was what it was known during the Civil War, and there was a lot of fighting there. And in the daytime, it was no problem. But at night, the ghosts would rise up out of their graves. Can you do some woo? And the soldiers from the north and the soldiers from the south would fight to see who could hold Ball's Bluff for eternity. Needless to say, the captain never again tied up at Haunted House Bend. Thank you. Now, Gus is going to play another tune because he won the election, so it's a Saturday. Yep, everybody wants to dance. Dance, come on. Oh, keep dancing. I like it. No, come on. Come on, Alpha. You gotta dance. Well, thank you very much. This has been so much fun because you all are what made the story. Seriously.